Hello, Michelle. Very
Hi,
excited
Nicole.
to have you.
Thank you.
Really excited to talk about finances today. And let's really learn how to be financially independent. I'm really looking forward to some of these tips, and I know people are going to love learning from you. So, to start, do you want to just really quickly introduce yourself and maybe share what a financial professional is? And then we'll get into some tips.
Absolutely. I am a 31-year-old female. I am an Alberta-raised farm girl, and I have recently been licensed to help people invest, pay off debt, and save for retirement. So I'm super pumped. A financial professional essentially can be a number of things, but for me personally, a financial professional takes care of all facets of your financial life, we'll call it. Okay, so it could be as simple as a will or life insurance or car insurance, up to including stocks, bonds, investments, mutual funds, and the like. We do not call ourselves advisors. We do not call ourselves brokers. We are simply a source of guidance and a way of people learning a little bit more about what to do with their money.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Perfect. I thank you for that introduction. And I definitely think no matter where we are at in our financial journey, we always can learn more. So I hope that everyone takes some nuggets away today, regardless of where they are in their scale of knowledge today. There's always room, there's no limit. There's always room for learning and growing and applying, even if they apply a little bit today, or maybe something they'd heard before, but they forgot or haven't applied it yet. So I do definitely believe there's a ton of room for learning in this field. And it's a goal that almost everyone has to some degree, is to really have that financial independence and financial security, financial wealth, whatever it is going to be a variety. So let's just get right into it. One of the key questions we wanted to ask was what's the best strategy to be financially independent? If you feel like you need to explain anything before answering that, feel free, but that's what we want to know.
Okay, so I'm going to do this in 3 parts, okay? So the first thing, I'm going to stand up and write for you a little bit. So the first thing you need to know is if you want to be financially stable, you need to know where your money is coming from and where it's going. Okay, so a lot of people think, I have a job, okay? That's my income, or I have a business, right? Another way people may have made money is an inheritance. I think I wrote that right.
BCE at the end, perhaps.
And then other ways could be just side businesses. A lot of mothers, for instance, tend to start something on the side so they can stay home with their children. So we'll call this the side hustle.
Mm-hmm.
Right? As it's modernly known as. Mm-hmm. Other forms of income, maybe their gifts and stuff like that, are more so exceptions. So you need to know where you're getting your income from. Mm-hmm. Then you need to know where is it going. Okay, what are you spending on? Are you spending on needs, wants, or other, right? Mm-hmm. Maybe it's not a need or a want, maybe you're being generous and you're doing gratitude with your money, okay? That's another opportunity, okay? Gratitude, we'll call it.
Third level of gratitude, act of generosity.
Okay.
Fabulous.
We all know that we have to spend on needs. It's inevitable, okay? Unless you were born with a silver spoon in your mouth, you are in this category of spending, okay? Wants vary depending on your values, depending on your goals. Your wants will range in importance, okay? And then your gratitude, that's also discretionary. If you're if you're extremely abundant in money, you may give more than someone who is sort of building their abundance, right? They're going to be more cautious with how grateful they are.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? This is the main thing. If you don't know where your money is coming from and where it's going, you're lost. Right now, I can guarantee you are lost. You are spending without a clue.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a very scary place to be because you don't have any sort of grounding on what is going well for me and what needs to be improved on.
Mm-hmm.
If your money is not in control, then your future is not in control, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
Does that answer that question, Nicole?
Yeah, it does. It's interesting because this is just triggering a couple of thoughts and questions on because there's a lot of entrepreneurs, probably mostly people who are going to be watching this will be entrepreneurs. So under that you said job/business, the income could vary quite a bit. There could be everyone's going to be in different positions in different places, but I'm just curious how you suggest going about that if there's like a job that you get paid every 2 weeks, and you kind of have that stability, you know. But if it's a business that doesn't have that stability, some businesses have a lot of stability and they've been in it for a long time and they know what to expect. But if it's a newer business or just one that is highly triggered by seasonality or trends or something like that, where they don't have that stability, I'm curious how you suggest or any tips that you would share on handling that.
Okay, so the best way to do this is to physically write it down. Create a list, handwritten, of everything you're spending and everything you're making, okay? And you'll know right away. It will become very apparent if you're overspending, right? And we forget about those little things like coffee or that once a year insurance payment or those random things like birthday gifts that add up when you're not putting them in your budget, right? So you need to list it all. How many birthdays do I celebrate a year? How many dinners out do I do a month? How many times do I grab coffee? Okay. Mm-hmm. I've seen people cut out coffee and save $1,000 a year.
Oh, wow.
Okay. I'm not saying don't have a coffee. I'm just saying
you're aware of it is what you're saying. Be aware of where money's coming from, where it's going. Yeah.
So you just nailed it. We're talking about awareness. Mm-hmm. And you can't change something you're not aware of, mm-hmm. right? So this is about being really honest with yourself mm-hmm. and identifying your behaviors. Mm-hmm. Your behavior of overspending, your behavior of being overgenerous when you really can't afford to be at the moment, mm-hmm. right? Your behavior of not paying bills, perhaps. You need to be aware of what's happening in your life and circumstances that are affecting your behavior, okay? Mm-hmm. That's where Nicole's going to help you out.
Yes, I'm like, this is perfect. That's a very good point, because if you're stuck in that area, that's why we do some of our other programs.
The second part that once you know what your bottom line is, okay, after needs and wants, what do you need? Okay, so what do you need to cover your needs and wants and gratitude? We'll call that your standard of living. Mm-hmm. And right now, you're probably wondering, well, I don't want to be living the way I live now. I want to be living better. So I'm going to use you, Nicole, as an example mm-hmm. of dreaming big, okay? So we're going to do a financial independence number for you.
Mm-hmm. Fabulous.
Okay. So you are currently young 38. And what is your current standard of living?
Can you clarify what you mean by that?
Sorry, wrong phrase. Your current standard of living would be typically what I would ask at a kitchen table if I were at an appointment. Yeah. What I'm wanting to know is what would be your standard of living if you had achieved every vision you have?
Mm-hmm. Well, okay, so you mean annual income kind of number. Just wanted to make sure I grasped the meaning of the Standard of Living Association. For sure. Yeah, I think the number I currently have on my goal card, my vision card, is $50,000 a month.
Okay.
Myself, not including my second half, but I feel like it'll get bigger than that. But that sounds like a good number right now because that's a big vision and it's a big dream.
Okay, so at $50,000 a month, we'll say that's about $600K a year.
Mm-hmm.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay, so dreaming big, $600,000 a year in 2019. And let's say you're going to retire, hopefully sooner than 65, but we'll say 65 just for fun, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So you have roughly 27 years, is that right? I just have to do the math here quickly. Yeah, 27 years.
Let's just do the math. It's 27. But so 27 years of life between now and the average retirement age.
But there's rules to finance that you're not aware of.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? One you might already have heard of called inflation.
Mm-hmm.
What is inflation? Notice how your cup of coffee goes up 10, 20 cents every year. Mm-hmm. Notice how gas keeps going up. Notice how clothes get more expensive, groceries get more expensive, everything gets more expensive. History has shown us that inflation averages about 3% per year.
Mm-hmm.
Everything gets 3% more expensive yearly on average.
Which sounds small when you put it in a percentage, but now if you times that by 27 years, I'm starting to see where you might be going with this.
So I have a financial calculator, and I'm going to get close with you guys so I can show you what I'm talking about. All right, so I've got this really basic calculator, and not that basic, sorry. Okay, so the number of years, we're going to go 27 years at an interest payment of 3% per year, because that's interest, right? So I over year is 3%.
Mm-hmm.
We presently have a dream of $600,000 a year.
A vision for 2020, I guess. Technically now we're talking 2020.
Yeah. Payment, we're not adding more to that. That's just to see how much money we will need in 27 years to equal.
Just to be able to maintain that.
To maintain that with the interest factor, right? $1,332,000. That's how much you will need per year in 27 years to continue the lifestyle of 600.
I see what you're saying. So to stay in the same type of home, like the value of my home, the value of just living expenses, groceries, cars, gas.
Just to live that
$600,000 life today will be a $1.3 million life in 27 years. The lifestyle will be the same, but the cost of living will go up so substantially that it will.
So a gallon of milk will be like $10 instead of $4.
Imagine the days when it was 5 cents.
Right? Okay, so we know this now.
Mm-hmm.
There's another thing that you need to consider. How long do you want to live?
90, 95.
Live till you're 90. So
95.
we gotta make sure this lasts you 25 years.
Mm-hmm.
So how much do you need if you need 1.3 million a year?
1.3 million times 25 years.
You can do by 25. Okay. Generally, your cost of
more
living is cheaper in your later years because your mortgage is paid off and you don't have like the expenses of a child.
Right.
And so forth.
Sure.
Okay,
yeah.
So we do a modest times 15. Mm-hmm. We'll do 15 because you're planning to live long. For someone who's not planning to live that long. Mm-hmm. So roughly 20 million by the time you're 65 in order to live comfortably and never have to work again.
Oh, I'm so excited that we have elevated life programs to help transform our thoughts, feelings, and actions and create lots of abundance. That is really interesting.
20 million is your goal, okay? We already know that
savings, to have savings of 20 million in savings.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So if we know that interest is going up and we're saving at 3% interest in a bank, are we going to make any money?
No.
No. Your money is going to be eaten up by inflation, okay? Mm-hmm. So saving at 3% won't cut it. This is called the rule of 72. Have you heard of this?
I don't think so.
Okay.
Maybe I have. When you describe it, we'll see.
The rule of 72 is pretty cool. It's an easy equation. Anyone can do it. It essentially tells us that at whatever interest rate we're getting for our investments, if we divide that interest rate, the fractional version of it, by 72, it will tell us how long it will take to double our investment.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So let's say you have no money saved yet for retirement, okay? Mm-hmm. So you need essentially 20 million, right? So you have 20 mil as the goal. At 3%, let me just do some reverse engineering here. At 3%, we want to see what the payment will be. Sorry. You will need to save $31,000 a year. If you have nothing today, you'll need to save $31,000 per year to get to your goal with a 3% interest rate, okay? If we take the interest rate to 6%, whoops. You will only have to save $20,000 a year.
Wow. Mm-hmm.
Okay. If you want to find a better investment, go for 9%. Mm-hmm. You'll only need to save $1,200. $12,000 a year.
$12,000. Well, that makes a difference to your lifestyle. That's a few more vacations per year, and some fabulous things. The gap between, say, having to put away $31,000 a year versus having to put away only $12,000 a year.
And then let's see if we did 12%. Sometimes you can get that, okay? Mm-hmm. You'd only have to save around $8,000 a year. Mm-hmm. Now, which one seems the most doable?
The 8,000. That's super easy. You can save comparatively. You can only have to save, except I have to find investments that are going to give me a 12% return consistently. Exactly. So, but at least you know. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. At least you know. If I know I have an investment that's only making me 6%, I know how much I have to put into it.
If I'm getting 3%, am I going to make my goal? Definitely not. That's a lot of money to save per year. Mm-hmm. Right? So no. If I'm getting 6%, okay, a little bit more doable, but 20,000 over 12 months is still a lot of money. Mm-hmm. Right? When you get to this point, lovely. $1,000 a month, done. Mm-hmm. Now I can save and not worry about my future. Mm-hmm. Right? And you're going to be living really comfortably, which is exactly what anybody wants. Mm-hmm. Now there are many options out there. There's a billion products you could purchase for investing. So you have to really check the fine print. Mm-hmm. Anytime you buy, we tend to, unless you're a very detail-oriented person, you may overlook the fine print. Mm-hmm. I recommend anyone that's shopping for investments to do their homework. Read your fine print. Mm-hmm.
Or leverage someone who can support them, or someone who you trust and has the knowledge and capacity to really do that. But also probably reading their fine print yourself as well, just to really give it that extra care.
The thing that people are the most afraid of is not understanding what they're doing. As you can see, I am no math scientist, you guys. I've done this all with a calculator. The calculator did the work. I didn't have to do any crazy formulas. I just punched in some values. Okay. So what I want you to do is to ask for more information. If you're not sure how to run this yourself, ask a professional. It's completely free. And if the professional does not know how to do this for you, you need another professional. Okay? This is simple stuff.
Yeah. I was actually just going to ask if there's a way of getting that equation, but I feel like I would value having a professional to assess it for me as well, even if I was trying to do it on my own.
I can help you out. So you'll want to get this calculator. It did cost me $10 to download it. And then the calculation is quite simple. Your N is the number of years you plan to work. Your I is the interest payment that you're currently getting or the one that you want to get. The present value is how much you have today. And then your payment you leave empty because you're just trying to see how much you'll need in the future. Then all you do is press future value and it gives you that first top number, the 1.3. Then you times that by 15 and it gives you your lifetime number.
So you said 15, 1-5.
1-5, yeah.
And is based on your current age, or is that always 15 based on your, because it's
generally always do 15.
Yeah.
Unless it's a very, very like special circumstance. Yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. This is a really exciting. I feel like I want to play around with these numbers also. It's so inspiring to have the knowledge. Like we talked a lot about awareness in, other things that we've done together. And I feel empowered just having this awareness right now. And I do feel kind of like it's putting a puzzle together. So I actually kind of enjoy that experience. But that's very exciting. So would you be okay if someone wants to get a hold of you or contact you or have some questions perhaps, or any referrals or any recommendations that you can send them to? How would folks get a hold of you?
Oh, the best way to reach is over email. And you can contact me at michelle.dallaire@gmail.com. We can also just write that in the bottom of this video so you have it there. And I am available days, weekends, evenings. So please just reach out and I'll get back to you. I love helping people figure out what they need and what their goal is, right? You may have an income right now of $50,000 a year, but as you start to grow and nurture your vision, your goal will be higher, maybe $100,000 a year, maybe more. And we want to forecast for that number, not just for today's standard of living.
I love that. And that totally aligns with a lot of what the work I do as well, is to help people open up to their potential and create that reality in their current state. So it just is so perfect to be able to have these formulas, these equations, this awareness, and then as they're growing to be able to, and as their vision grows, to your point, to be able to plug in the goal numbers, not just the current numbers, and then plan for that lifestyle. And exactly. Also, I would say shocking. If someone hasn't done this work, it's shocking to see, I need $20 million to live the same way that I want to live right now. Like that sounds, that I don't think we really, even if we understand maybe what inflation is at a high level, but I definitely don't think majority of people at least would have that realization of really how substantial it does impact your ability to retire. And keep
that's why you can't do it with just saving alone. You have to do it with investments, or you're going to be behind big time.
Let me just double check really quickly to see if I had any last questions. I think we're pretty good. I feel really excited. I think some things that there may be some questions coming out of this, and so I'm really grateful for you providing your email address, like questions of working with a financial professional, like investing or investments, there's probably going to be a lot of questions coming out of this, but taking this knowledge and awareness now, and then being able to apply that. And we'll see if we can potentially add a few more tools and tips to attach with this video as well.
Yeah, really absolutely.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. Very exciting. And I think we're going to empower a lot of people with this.
I really hope.
Your time.
Thank you for watching.
Talk to you soon.
Bye-bye.